Hey, what's up, my Dragon Legion? Hi, Albert. So there, Dragoons. Today, we've got a very special video for all of us to check out today. Now, for quite some time, if you Dragoons have been part of my channel for quite some time, you remember that the very first Vanguard video, legit Vanguard video I've ever posted on this channel was Kagero Lawkeeper. But I've also admitted my number one favorite type of deck was not mine, but was, of course, obviously, Dragon over the end build of Kagero's. But as time went on, I came up with this interesting idea of mixing my two favorite decks together right here. Now, I came up with this idea right here because I was watching quite a bit of how Dauntless DOTE Dragon work, how you don't need regular Dragon Overlord anymore to make the deck function right no more. And I was looking at certain other deck profile videos like Amber Dragons, whatever, that happened to tech in Lawkeeper in that deck profile video. So I figured, why not combine my two favorite Kageros together to make a legitimate not destructible, but high powerful destructible deck right here. Lawkeeper DOTE Kagero. Now, Lawkeeper DOTE Kagero is both decks working together. Lawkeeper and Dragon over the end. Getting into one or the other is really good because your opponent fears both of these guys at once together. Like, no one wants to deal with Lawkeeper, and at the same time, no one wants to deal with Dragon Overlord the end. So why not mix the two together? Lawkeeper, you can just use his ability, bind your opponent's rear guards, and just be all aggressive, go for the Vanguard, all that such. And then once your opponent's turn, your opponent will think you're all about Lawkeeper, so he or she will kill his or her own rear guards, just bring on more rear guards, and then if you survive next turn, you can just ride Dragon Overlord the end, and he will do some serious damage to your opponent, and by then your opponent will not have that many resources to fend off your Dragon Overlord the end. Or if it's the other way around, Dragon Overlord the end will do the same thing. He will be aggressive, make your opponent force up his or her resources just to stop that one attack, and then by next turn, if you survive, you will just use a Lawkeeper and potentially finish off your opponent from there. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go straight to deck profile and show you how my idea Lawkeeper DOTE build works out. Keep in mind, it is in a work in progress, and in the near future, the deck will work out pretty much amazing in my opinion. Alright, here we go. You start off with your starting Vanguard. One Conroe. Conroe is currently banned in Japan right now, so it will most likely happen. The same thing right here with Conroe. Conroe may get banned in the US soon, so I'll have to pick up a Red Pulse Drago kit as fast as I possibly can for obvious reasons. But until then, I'm going to use Conroe the best I can while I still can, and Conroe is just still, well, straight up awesome. Next, for the trigger lineup, we play 4 heals. That's pretty much explanatory. And just like most of my other Kagero deck profile videos, now I know I say when I do Lawkeeper, I do 8 critical and 4 draw lineup, but keep in mind I got Dragon Overlord the end and Lawkeeper working together in one deck, and I do need that second that second DOTE in my hand in order to do a Persona Blast with Dragon Overlord the end. So I end up sticking with the usual 6/6 lineup, the 6 critical and 6 draw lineup. Now this still gives you, as I mentioned in the past, this still gives you an equal balance of offense and defense right here. You still got the draw power to give yourself more drawing power and and get yourself a lot faster, like Dragon Overlord the end, while you still have the critical stuff. So either one or the other, Lawkeeper or DOTE can potentially knock off your opponent and just be all aggressive, still be aggressive, and be defensive all at once right here. In my opinion, this perfectly balances out how this deck should function in a proper way perspective. Now, that's it for the trigger lineup. For the grade 1 lineup, I play Max Bar, Cousin Bar, the 4 perfect guards, Now I'm just using. Now I like Vanguard Bari, but I'm just using Bari until I pick up one more of this guy right here because I prefer Flame Dragons over Dragon Man, whatever such. So, but until then, but I'll stick with this because at least this is a legitimate legal lineup right here for now. But until then, I'm gonna stick with this right here. The 4 monks, because you can use them as either a booster or a draw power guy. Either one is pretty good. So Gojo is pretty good. And we got 2 Flame of ammo because he's monk with only 1,000 power less, and he can do both at once as long as the card he's supporting is a successful hit. And I play 1 tech of Rapier because there is that one potential possibility where I could have a Lawkeeper as my Vanguard, and when that happens, when I can have Rapier and Lawkeeper, while Lawkeeper as Vanguard and him boosting the Lawkeeper, after the Lawkeeper goes off his limit break ability, I can have a Lawkeeper charging at my opponent with 23 power, and even when he supports Dragonic Overlord the N, as long as there's some decent amount of rear guards are already dead all as such, he becomes a decent boost up with Dragonic Overlord the N as well, so which is always pretty good and appreciative in terms of perspective. And that is it for the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 2 lineup, now just like a typical Lawkeeper build, I end up going with the max copy. I end up going with 7 different Grade 2 10 gate vanilla guys. Now keep in mind, this deck is all about being aggressive and all that such. So even though you may have a possibility of a Dragonic Overlord at the end, but the possibility of him being your Vanguard is just as possible as Lawkeeper being your Vanguard. So that's why Burning Horn Dragon is not in this deck right here. This deck is all about being aggressive, getting that attack in as fast as you possibly can. And even if Overlord does end up becoming your Vanguard, having these guys as a rear guard is pretty good, especially when you got a decent beater. It still gives you the power that you need to knock out some rear guards, and if you can knock out some pretty good rear guards with them and Berserk Dragon, then your Rapier will give your DOTE the power that he needs to swing in with 21 power and give your opponent a run for his or her money right there, right out the back. So these guys are pretty good right here. And speaking of being all aggressive, we play the we play three Berserk Dragons. Berserk Dragon, he's pretty much your Blaster Blade of the deck. Counter Blast 2 when you first ride or call him, and kill that one Grade 2 alert rear guard. Helps you set yourself up for some big push plays, and kill your opponent's resources, and just knock some heads off your opponent in terms of speaking. So Berserk Dragon is still pretty good for now. And lastly, to kick off the lineup, we play the 4 Lawkeepers and the 4 Dragonic Overlord DNs. There we go. Now this is pretty much, now both of these guys are your ideal Vanguards. Which one, hitting one or the other is always pretty good when you're playing this deck right here. For those who do not know what they do, Lawkeeper, as I just explained, Lawkeeper is Limit Break 4, Counter Blast 1 card, bind all your opponent's rear guards. Bind all your opponent's rear guards. All your opponent's rear guards are binded until the end of your turn, and once this during the end of your turn, all those rear guards are placed back to your opponent's rear guard circle. But if 5 rear guards have been binded by this card effect, your opponent must choose one of those rear guards to be retired. And his regular auto ability while he's your Vanguard is, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, this card gains additional 3,000 power. So by himself, as long as you go off his limit break ability, he becomes a 1,300, which is pretty aggressive and pretty narrow, hard to beat down right out of the back right here. The one flaw with him is that when you go off with his effect and you do not kill your opponent, say your opponent messes up during his turn and he or she did something stupid like all their Grade 2s for some reason are in the back row rear guard circles, and all their Grade 1s are in the front row instead of the other way around. If you bind those rear guards with his effect, and if you don't kill your opponent has the opportunity to fix his or her mistake and put the Grade 2s up front and the Grade 1s below, if you know what I mean. as such, and give them the opportunity to make up for their losses of what just happened. Give them a chance to fight back. So when you're playing a Lawkeeper, you have to go in there hard, fast, and such. And for Dragonic Overlord, the end, for those who do not know what he does, his effect says his first ability is while you have a non-Kagero rearguard unit, this or Vanguard, this unit gets minus 2,000. If you have a card named Dragonic Overlord at the end, and in the soul of this unit gets plus 2,000 power while he's a Vanguard. So the first two abilities are pretty much ignored because you're not going to use ability in this type of deck right here, but you will be able to use his final effect. And his final effect is his Vanguard effect is Counterblast 2 and pitch one copy of him, another copy from him and retire it to the graveyard. And when his attack is a hit, you may pay the cost. If you do, you can stand his unit back right up. So what it means is, if you land an attack with Dragonic Overlord at the end while he's your Vanguard, and if that attack is a hit, you can just use his ability, Counterblast 2 cards and your damage, pitch another copy of Overlord at the end from your hand to the retirement zone, and you stand right back up again, and you can just swing in and attack again right here. Now, with these two guys working together right here, you ride him first, and he'll take care of some damage before you ride him, or do the other way around, ride him, and then ride him later on. These guys just get in there really hard. They just deal massive damage to your opponent, and they just force your opponent use up so many resources, and not too many people are ever going to expect seeing Lawkeeper or DOTE work together. These two are like a mean green or mean red wrecking machines, I should be saying, not green. These guys are like really good, really powerful, and I'm very surprised that not too many people have tried this method out, because now I can partially see why, especially right now, because we're now in a break ride format and all that such. But at the same time, these guys are like really cool working together. As not only these guys are really cool working together, but it's just something not too many people will expect to deal with, and it's kind of hard to deal with even if your opponent does know what you're playing, that you're playing this right here. So all in all, I think this deck looks pretty cool. There will be some changes in the deck in the near future, especially when I do get my hands on Dauntless Drive Dragon. When I do get my hands on Dauntless Drive Dragons, I may take out at least 2 Lawkeepers just to try out the Dauntless Drive Dragon. I don't know yet, but deck looks great. I do see a lot of potential of this deck right here in the near future. And until then, let me know what you Dragoons think about this deck profile in the comment section down below. And I'll see you Dragoons around. Hope you Dragoons enjoy this video. Leave a like and favorite if you did. Hit subscribe today to become part of the Dragon Legion Alliance. And I'll see you Dragoons another day. Christian Dragoon, signing out. Peace.